Alright, so then let's get started with Act 1, Scene 2 of Romeo and Juliet. And the scene is just like a street, um, and right now you've got Capulet and Paris talking right now. And so I guess let's find out what they're saying, huh? Alright, so Capulet starts, and he says, "But Montague is bound as well as I, in penalty alike. And 'tis not hard, I think, for men so old as we to keep the peace." And basically, that whole section there is saying Capulet and Montague both have the same punishment, and they're ordered to keep the peace. In penalty alike is the phrase where it's saying they have the same punishment there. Paris responds with, "Of honorable reckoning are you both, and pity 'tis you lived at odds so long. But now, my lord, what say you to my suit?" He's basically saying, what do you say to my proposal? And this is what Capulet says. "But saying o'er what I have said before, my child is yet a stranger in the world. She hath not seen the change of 14 years. Let 2 more summers wither in their pride, ere we may think her ripe to be a bride." I'm just gonna keep going and then discuss it because I think that'll be easier instead of trying to stop and explain it and stop and explain it because I think that'll get lost in communication. Paris responds with, "Younger than she are happy mothers made." Capulet. "And too soon marred are those so early made. The earth hath swallowed all my hopes but she. She is the hopeful lady of my earth. But woo her, gentle Paris, get her heart. My will to her consent is but a part, and she agree within her scope of choice. Lies my consent and fair according voice. This night I hold an old accustomed feast, whereto I have invited many a guest, such as I love, and you among the store. One more, most welcome, makes my number more. At my poor house look to behold this night, earth-treading stars that make dark heaven light. Such comfort as lusty young men feel when well apparelled April on the heel of limping winter treads, even such delight among fresh female buds shall you this night inherit at my house. Here all see, and like her most whose merit most shall be, which amongst view of many, many be in one, mine be in one, may stand in number, though in reckoning none. Come, go with me." And then he talks to his servant, giving him a paper. "Go, Sierra, trudge about through Verona, find these persons out whose names are written there, and to them say, my house and welcome on their pleasure stay." Okay, so let's go back to Capulet's, but saying over what I've said before. He's basically saying that, like, it's normal for young ladies to get married at a young age, and in this case, Juliet is only 14, and she'll be married at 16, which was like the age custom at that time. And because Capulet says, "Let 2 more summers wither in their pride." So she's only 14 years old, and so like 2 more years, and she'll be 16, and then you can marry her. And then Paris was like, "Dude, like, mothers are younger than her, and I mean, they're happy. I mean, why can't I marry her now?" That's like the subtext behind that line. And Capulet says, "And too soon marred are those so early made." That's actually a reference to his own wife. Yeah, I don't remember what that exactly was about, but I just know that's a reference to Lady Capulet. And then he says, "The earth has swallowed all my hopes but she." And it's saying that the side note that I have is Juliet is Capulet's only surviving child. So maybe Lady Capulet had like a miscarriage or something. I'm not sure. But Juliet's an only child as of right now, and so they really love her and they care for her and they wanna like see her like succeed in life, basically. And then later he says, "My will to her consent is but a part." That's line 17 actually, and it's saying that Juliet has to agree as well with this. That we're arranging this, but she also has to be in on this too. And then after that, he says, and she agree within her scope of choice, lies my consent and bear according voice. And he's saying, I'm gonna accept whoever Juliet chooses because I'll be happy no matter what. Uh, Unless it's Romeo, not Romeo. But of course, we don't know that till later. And then a couple lines later, line 22, he says, such as I love and you among the store, one more most welcome makes my number more. He's basically saying, Paris, come celebrate with us and just have fun. And then lines 26 through 33, it says like feel, heal, delight, night, see, be, one, none. That's all just a rhyme. I put a side note there that, that's cool, whatever. And then when he's talking to servant, go Sierra, trudge about through Fair Verona, yada yada. He's basically saying go find people to invite to this party and, all are welcome basically. But this party is gonna be a masked ball. That will play into like the scene later, and we will see why. And so then Capulet and Paris leave after that. And so the servant says, bind them whose names are written here. It is written that the shoemaker shall meddle with his yard, and the tailor his last, the fisher with his pencil, and the painter with his nets. But I am sent to find those persons whose names are here writ, and can never find what names a writing person hath here writ. I must to the learned, in good time. He's saying that it is written that the shoemaker should meddle with his yard. It should like make time with it. Sorry, I was reading another side note. It's not that important. Yeah, just make time for it. But when he says, but I am sent to find those persons whose names are here writ, and can never find what names a writing person hath here writ. Lines 42 through 45, he's saying that he can't read, and so he has to go find someone who can. And so then, now we enter Benvolio and Romeo, which, oh gosh. This is kind of dramatic irony that, I'll explain why in a minute. Okay, so Benvolio starts and he says, tut man, one fire burns out another's burning. One pain is lessened by another's anguish. Turn giddy, and behold by backward turning. One desperate grief cures with another's languish. Take now some new infection to thy eye, and the rank poison of the old will die. Romeo, your plantain leaf is excellent for that. For what, I pray thee? For your broken shin. Why, Romeo, art thou mad? Not mad, but bound more than a madman is. Shut up in prison, kept without my food, whipped and tormented, and then he sees the servant, and he says, God eve, good fellow. Okay, and then so, Romeo's saying, your plantain leaf is excellent for that. He's just saying, like, it's gonna heal cuts, and, like, this is gonna heal over time. And then Benvolio's like, dude, are you going crazy? Romeo says, not mad, but bound more than a madman is. That's a potential oxymoron where it's not quite contradictory, but it kind of is. Not mad, but bound more than a madman. Okay, so he's saying, like, he's not crazy, but how he feels like it's worse than someone who actually, like, is, like, mentally ill or something of that sort. So then don't worry, we're about halfway through the scene. It's a pretty short one. The servant says to Romeo, I pray, sir, can you read? Romeo, I, mine unfortune in my misery. Servant, perhaps you have learned it without book, but I pray, can you read anything you see? Romeo, I, if I know the letters and the language. Servant, you say honestly, rest you merry. So he's asking Romeo for help reading, and Romeo's like, yeah, if I know the language. And so when the servant says, you say honestly, he interprets this as meaning Romeo can't read. And so he's like, oh, okay, see you later then. And then Romeo responds with, stay fellow, I can read. Like, okay, stay here, I'll read it. And then he says, this whole section right here, this letter, is a plot device and it moves the plot forward along. Oops. Didn't want that. Moves the plot forward along, and so, let's get into it. Signor Martino and his wife and daughters, County Anselmi and his beauteous daughters, the lady widow of Bertruvio, Signor Placentio and his lovely nieces, Mercutio and his brother Valentine, mine uncle Capulet, his wife and daughters, my fair niece Rosaline and Livia, Signor Valentino and his cousin Tybalt, Lucio and the lovely Helena. This is really important. I circled my fair sorry, my bad. I circled the words fair niece Rosaline, that's in line 72. I circled that. That's really important because Rosaline will be at this party, and that's the woman who Romeo is in love with at this point. And so then Romeo, like, gives back the paper. This says, like, who else is going to be at the party, which is why it's a plot device moving it forward. Rosaline's going to be there. That's why that's really important. And then Romeo says, a fair assembly. Whither should they come? Like, where are they invited? Servant, up. Whither to supper? Where to supper? Servant, to our house. Whose house? My master's. Indeed, I should have asked you that before. Servant, now I'll tell you without asking. My master is the great rich Capulet, and if you be not of the house of Montagues, I pray, come and crush a cup of wine. Rest you merry. And so you say, he's like, I serve Capulet. If you're not Montague house, just come and enjoy. It's kind of ironic because he doesn't know who they are, and so because it's a masked ball, they can go in, be masked, and no one knows who they are, and no fights happen at the party. Hopefully. So, like, that's why I find it kind of, dramatic and ironic in that sense. Someone else might not interpret it as that way, but that's how I take it. Alright, almost done. Promise. Benvolio. At this same ancient feast of Capulets, sups the fair Rosaline, whom thou so lovest, with all the admired beauties of Verona. Go thither, and with unattainted eye, compare her face with some that I shall show, and I will make thee think thy swan a crow. So Benvolio says, go thither, and with unattainted eye, he's saying that Rosaline's gonna be there, and you love her, dude, just go. She's gonna be there, and you can enjoy and have time with her. And, so then Romeo says, when the devout religion of mine eye maintains such falsehood, then turn tears to fires, and these who often drowned could never die, transparent heretics, be burnt for liars. One fairer than my love, the all-seeing sun, never saw her match since the world first begun. Yeah, there's nothing I really have there. Benvolio. Tut, you saw her fair, none else being by, herself poised with herself in either eye. But in that crystal scales let there be weighed your lady's love against some other maid, then I will show you shining at this feast, and she shall scant show well that now seems best. Romeo. I'll go alone, no such sight to be shown, but to rejoice in splendor of mine own. Exit, and then you continue on to scene 3. So I'll discuss that and, like, a little bit, like, right there. So they're deciding to go to, like, this party, and they're saying, like, hey, we're not gonna show anything, we're just gonna have fun and, enjoy, and, hopefully Romeo can, get to know Rosaline better in that sense. And so that concludes my Act 1, Scene 2, and, I'll be hopefully filming Scene 3 shortly. It's now 7:30 at night, so I probably will. It's kind of lengthy, but, my videos are pretty lengthy, but that's okay, because I'm trying to get really, into it. Any feedback will be much appreciated, and if you guys have watched it this far, I'll, keep posting, and, you keep watching if you really enjoy it. And, after my Shakespeare unit, I'm just gonna, do, like, a whole bunch of other stuff, like, I think I'll start sign language, or, just whatever I feel like talking about. So, yeah, definitely stay tuned So yeah, that is my Act 2. Sorry, Act 1, Scene 2. Really hope you enjoyed it. So keep an eye out for Scene 3. Bye.